All right, so full disclosure, I was gonna film my wrap-up, but then we got the Nebulas this weekend. I forgot we were getting the Nebulas, and I actually watched them for the first time. And so I just had my Locust Award reaction last week, so now we have Nebula. And then in a couple weeks, I'm gonna respond to the Ignite shortlist because I'm very interested in that one. I've already glanced at it, but there are a lot of books I don't know, which excites me. And then soon we'll get the Ursula K. Le Guin. Basically, I'm thriving. This is everything for me, my little nosy book awardish heart. So let's just go through them, starting at Best Poem, working our way to Best Novel. I don't have a lot to say about the poems because I haven't read them. I am going to read the poems for the Hugo. I know we have the packet, so I'll read the poems for the Hugo. I will try to be a poetry person. I'm really not. I'm really not. I've always been more of short fiction in terms of that. I love an Edgar Allan Poe short story. I don't like an Edgar Allan Poe poem. That's who I've always been. I think part of it is I like a poem when there's a meter and a melody attached to it in a song, so a lyric. But yeah, so the winner is The World to Come. It's from Strange Horizon, from December of last year. And then we have Best Comic. I don't read a lot of comics, but the winner was Mary Shelley's School for Monsters, The Killing Stone by Jessica Mason from Wicked Tree. So those are the ones where I don't have as many thoughts, because I don't know a lot of things. But Best Game Writer. And remember, just so we're remembering, this is a stacked list. This is a list where I have played everything but one, and that was Hollow Knight Silk Song, which Ryan has played and finished. It's a stacked list. And unsurprisingly, the winner was Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, as it should have been. And I was so happy to see her give her little acceptance speech. She was so excited. Because I feel like sometimes when people are giving awards and they're outside of the bookish space, they don't go accept them. And I feel like the gaming community has been a bit more embracing the bookish side. And so I was just really happy to see the writer just be so excited. Well, one of the writers, but because I'd seen her in some interviews online because I fell down my Expedition 33 rabbit hole after finishing it because, well, if you finish that game, you know. And I can't wait for the next game we're going to get from that studio. And I feel like it's such an amazing story and perfect gameplay for me. Ugh, love it so much. Okay, middle grade and young adult. I don't have opinions on this one. It was Into the Wild Magic. So, that's what it was. The person who won it was very excited, and she seemed very nice. All right. Now, Nebula for Outstanding Dramatic Performance. I'm a little bit more meh. It's unsurprising, but I'm still a little bit more meh. So, the things that we had here. We had Sinners. We had Superman. We had K-Pop Demon Hunter. We had Pluribus Season 1. And then we had Severance, one of the episodes, and I'm trying to remember which episode it is. And the winner ended up being Season 1 of Murderbot. I'm not surprised because people love Murderbot. And not just people, authors love Murderbot. And I think it's partially they love Murderbot just as its own art. And it seems like Martha Wells is a very easy person to like. That seems to be the vibe. She seems like she's only good energy. So that combination leads to a lot of love and a lot of support, especially in an award. Just as a reminder, this is voted for by the Science Fiction Writers Association. So these are people in the field voting for people in their field. It's a lot like the Tonys, where, you have to be a part of the thing to vote. And so I guess for me, I personally feel like Sinners is the obvious winner. I think Murderbot Season 1 is good. I just don't think it's great. I think it was good. It was enjoyable. It was a good time. But also that's how I feel about the book, so obviously I am not the person to weigh this. The most egregious win for me and people in my Discord who I read short stories with in my Patreon is Best Short Story. Especially because there are some baller stories here, okay? So, if I was voting, my two stories that I would have been super content with winning was 6 People to Revise You and In My Country. Those would have been the two. 6 People to Revise You is, like the title suggests, you want to have changes made to yourself. And so you have 6 people write down the changes they would make. And all of those are then applied to you. And it's about, should you let that much external influence? And who are these 6 people? There are different roles in your life, and it's this one person's experience. It's really good. I really liked it. And then we have In My Country, which I've talked about a lot, but it's still really timely and really good, where you have this passive person seeing how their children respond to totalitarianism. That's how words work today. I had to teach for like 5 hours today, so my gift of gab, fleeting. And in this regime, you have to write a story with a direct meaning. And his son keeps not doing that and gets in trouble. And it's like about what happens to him and what his father believes happens to him and what his sister... It's so good. It's a really good story. I read it in December and I still think about it. But the one that won is Laser Eyes Ain't Everything, which I want to... Up front, I have no issues with the message of this story. Okay? The message of this story is great. Everything should have ramps. We should have compliance codes for every disability. I have no issues with the thematic message and the rage that fueled the writing of this story. It's just execution-wise, like it feels like a very young author wrote it. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's just like the actual sentence by sentence structure was very trite and after school special and on the nose, and I just really didn't like the execution of what was being explored. I think that obviously this theme should be explored. You can even explore it through the superhero lens, because the idea of this is like, this person becomes a superhero. They suddenly have laser eyes because of something, but they're also a wheelchair user. And they go to the building where all the superheroes go, and there's no ramp, and they won't build a ramp. And then there's also this thing where, like, this person who happens to also be a wheelchair user has, like, all these tasks that they want to have happen to help cities be safer, and no one's ever listened to them in any of their jobs, and it's just, like, it's the same thing there, and it has to do with how, is the villain actually the bad guy? It's just, like, everything, you start reading the story, you will know how it ends right away. It's just so okay. I think it deserved to be on the short list. I don't think it deserved to win. That's really where I'm at. I'm happy for her. She just had a kid, apparently. She seemed really excited to win. I have no, like, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, there were some baller stories. Now, it did seem like sometimes they erred on the side of themes that resonated, because there was, like, another story that I was like, I don't really like this, called Through the Machine, that was very on-the-nose AI sort of stuff. So maybe that's just what's resonating with authors right now. Like, maybe for them, it's just like a super cathartic situation. And honestly, if you are feeling rage and you need a straightforward, cathartic, put it in my veins story about not having disability, like accessibility, Laser Eyes Ain't Everything. It's quick. It's breezy. It's just not, I don't think award worthy. I just don't think it's award worthy. All right. Now we have Novelette, which I haven't read. I need to read it. So this was the Thomas Ha that won, it's Uncertain Suns. If you live in the United States and you have Hoopla, you can get it through that, because it's in his short story collection. So I need to read that, and then I'll know if I, agree or disagree. The 2 that I wanted to win that I have read were The Name Zia, which I've talked about, where it's about this woman who leaves her family to go to the school and has to sell part of her name, and it definitely represents selling culture and cultural appropriation and the dark sides of the people who can and choose to assimilate and those who can't into a school setting. It was really good. Like, if you like Blood Over Brighthaven, you should read that short story, and it's for free on Reactor. And then we have Never Eaten Vegetables, which I've talked about so much, by H.H. Pak, where it's about, like, this generation ship. And it's not really a generation ship. Like, it's carrying all these embryos, and then suddenly these embryos, like, started to hatch, and it had to figure out how to take care of them. And it's about what that did to it and this future colony. And it's, like, in parallel with the story on the colony of this person who is pregnant, trying to figure out how to get their colony what they need from the corporation who put them in this situation. And it's really good. Like, if you want, like, a fascinating view of the costs of motherhood, really good. Now, if you don't want to read about motherhood, maybe stay away. But I think it was really good. Novella. Everyone hold their breath, because The River Has Roots has won again. It's so unsurprising. It's like, actually, at the Tonys, Ragtime won Revival. Of course, Ragtime won Revival. Like, this is how I feel about The River Has Roots. And not necessarily because I think it should. It's just that, like, everyone loves it. I did love her acceptance speech. Amazing. She had a great acceptance speech, and I love her short story collection. So I actually have no issue with The River Has Roots. I just think it's like kind of a boring result. And now, the best novel. I was so excited. I was so excited. Guys, it was The Buffalo Hunter Hunter, which you already know probably by the time you're seeing, but like, oh my gosh, that was the one I was hoping would win. And his acceptance speech, because he had to record it, he was like, you could tell he really didn't think he would win it. And I love his cadence. Like, he reads his acknowledgments at the end of every audiobook. So I've heard him speak before just through his acknowledgments. And he just really has this cadence that you can just listen to him forever. And I'm just so happy. And he won, I think, the Bram Stoker Award in the same night. So if this isn't your sign to read this book, I don't know what is. It's not even that scary. Like, it has some unsettling bits. There's a tiny bit of gore. But if you're, like, you self-identified as a baby, I think you can handle it. I really do. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So anyways, I'm generally cool with it. Also, if you haven't watched N.K. Jemisin's speech, like, I'm pretty sure they still have the video up somewhere. It was amazing. She's just so good. Like, I can listen. I think some people can write how they speak. You can't always do that because we don't all speak grammatically. I think she kind of does, because sometimes I feel like her cadence in her written word match her spoken, and I just love it. It works so well for me, how she just tells her thoughts and stories. Ugh. And when she has to ad-lib, it's so funny, and like, she's just so collected and grounded and funny. And I still can't believe she recognized me when I saw her a month ago. I mean, she doesn't know who I am, but she recognized my face, and that brought me joy. So yeah, this is a little delirious first day of class, Angela, coming to you to talk about the Nebulas. And yeah, next week I'll have a wrap up. This Friday we'll have a Friday Reads. If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, if you have opinions, you can leave them down below about the Nebulas. But if you just want to leave an emoji, let's leave a planet. I don't remember if we have Saturn or Jupiter, but leave a planet. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one.